They were not interested in making a film without songs or romance or a lot of dialogue, shot very far in Rajasthan and the Himalayas. A film which was not typically British and which was shot in Hindi, but which was not entirely Indian either. Sometimes he answered and sometimes his wife, Sutapa. He had this incredible presence and a beautiful face and unusual puffy eyes. He loved world cinema, had the tone and the references and liked the challenge of telling a story without words. Then I said to my friend Amit, who I was playing with, he looks like someone who has killed a lot of people, but he feels really bad about it. The only problem was that he seemed such a wonderful and warm guy that we had to toughen him up a bit. It was part of the fun. He was 34 years old and became more beautiful and fitter as he got older. We went to the desert and the mountains for the shoot and he saw the snow for the first time. It was very economical and pre-digital, so there was no reading room or movement. You just watched him take a shot, and then you went. It was amazing. Okay, let's continue. Before that, Irfan had thought about quitting because he was bored. He hadn't been offered a role that allowed him to demonstrate his great gift, which was so much to say at a glance. He elevated the simple lines into brilliant cinematic moments, could make you feel something very complex and emotional by doing very little. He was a real movie star. Over the years, the Warrior cast and crew have kept in touch and have had a reunion, which is quite unusual in this area. There was a real connection, and Irfan number 8211, moving, tall, elegant, slightly out of this world number 8211, was our spiritual leader. Even before he was famous, he had immense dignity and charisma. I think Pitt told Irfan to watch it when they worked together on A Mighty Heart. He spoke about his illness in a way I had never heard of cancer before. Some actors can be quite ordinary when they are not finished. He didn't have to be in a suit. Even when people didn't know who he was number 8211, in a store or on the street number 8211, they stopped and stared. Once we were together in an economy class plane, and every 5 minutes, flight attendants came and asked him if he needed anything. The Warrior won the BAFTAs prize and the Sutherland Prize for Best First Film at the London Film Festival. The next day, we went to my mother's house in Hackney for lunch. Miramax bought the American rights, but Harvey Weinstein put the film on a shelf for years, which killed him. And he was disqualified from the foreign language category of the Oscars number 8211, which also upset Irfan. He was not without ambition. But we both got noticed and he went on to make films with Danny Boyle, Michael Winterbottom, Wes Anderson, and Ang Lee. I recently worked with David Fincher and asked him how he met me. He said, "Oh, my best friend came with a DVD and told me I should watch it. It turned out to be Brad Pitt, and the DVD was Senna." Whatever the film, I always felt that Irfan was the best and most credible thing because he was so honest. Number 8211, everything he did was soulful and truthful. As his career took off, he stayed the same. It had always been open to the outside and international, which is why it could so easily work in many genres and countries. In the spring, Irfan sent me a photo of his new calf. Fame has never changed. We tried to meet each other whenever I was in India or London. We talked about movies and went to the British Museum and Primrose Hill, and our kids played soccer together. When he was undergoing treatment here, I would visit him at the hospital and we would go to the local park or cafe, where he would come to our house. He was extremely curious and wanted to understand exactly what was going on. In 2018, I invited Irfan and his eldest son to a first cut of my documentary on Diego Maradona. "Why did you do this movie?" he asked in the editorial suite a few days later. "What does this film say about you?" His grades were really tough. He wanted me to make the film more personal, as much on me as on Maradona. They were good grades. Irfan knew me well enough to say that he didn't like this cut number 8211, but he didn't want to tell me in front of 50 people. He returned to India and we had a message from time to time. It's difficult when a friend lives on the other side of the world. The other week, I found photos of this first casting session in the questionable hotel in 1999 and sent them to him. Sutapa responded by saying, "Oh, he's wearing his lucky black shirt." He always told me to come and visit his farm outside of Mumbai. I never got there. You always think there is time and then you run out of it. He and I were so synchronized for a while, in part I think because the film we made was slightly out of step with the rest of the world. It didn't work out perfectly, and neither did we. It's like losing a brother. He used to call me at 2 a.m. and I would be worried that something serious had happened. "Oh no," he said, "I just missed you and I wanted to chat."